Okay, it's time to kind of talk about how you can go about getting into the alternatives over AA. So now the biggest thing you can do is a routine. So you're going to be well served off by getting that in. And speaking of help, here we go. We got uh, the star of my other videos coming to join us. Yeah, you coming to tell him all about this, huh? No matter where I sit, he has to come up and get attention and everything. So first off is getting into a routine. So now I'm gonna kind of pull off my experience and looking back and what I could have done better and everything. So I only joined AA because I was under the impression at the time that oh look, this is the only option and everything. When I would have been a lot better served if I had known about the alternatives from the get go, and I would not have joined AA to begin with, and I would have been moving on with my life a lot sooner. Now I got a lot more benefit going to the gym and stuff than I did going to AA. Now, if you're looking for stuff to fill your time and everything, because that's basically all that, looking back, that all the AA was a time filler to kind of keep myself occupied. What you can do is get yourself professional help from the get go. Go into an outpatient program. You go to one group meeting a week, and then if you need to do a one-on-one with a counselor every week, or depending on where you're at, you can quite possibly do one a month and everything. You do that, you get into maybe a smart recovery. I mean, I always use smart recovery only because that's what I'm most familiar with, and so I'm going to bias myself towards what I'm familiar with. By no means necessary does that mean it's better than any of the other alternatives like the SOS, secular organizations of sobriety, Reach Out Recovery. There's also Rational Recovery. There's the Sinclair method. There's also the Phoenix program, as I'm just on my phone. And so, kind of find all those alternatives that would work for you. So, what you can do is you obviously you're going to need a job to be able to support yourself. So, I'm going to say a full-time job. That's going to take up 40 hours of your week. So, plus you get to and from work, travel time. And you're probably looking at a good roughly 45 to 50 hours a week right there. You get yourself to the gym in a 1 hour a day, so there's another for six days a week. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be a soul crushing PR workout every single day. If you're first starting out, it could be as simple as something as walking on the treadmill for an hour. Yes, we're talking about how to get themselves all situated. So there's another 6 hours a week. Plus, you're going to need another 8 hours of sleep every day. So between getting to work, to and from work, getting to and from the gym, and getting home, getting dinner, and doing one a one group meeting a week and everything, you're going to have most of your time filled up right there. I want to use the Monday through Friday analogy for working now, because most jobs, quite a lot of jobs are like that now. A lot of times with retail, you're working weekends, so you might have to not necessarily copy and paste, but kind of look at your schedule, because your you might have Wednesdays, Thursdays off, so you kind of finagle it that way. But Monday through Friday, you pretty much work, sleep, gym. You go to that one a group meeting every week, and and quite possibly a one-on-one session too. So you're going to be Monday through Friday. Your schedule is going to be jam-packed. Saturday, what you do is you use that day as a catch-up day, getting things errands like laundry. You do to keep your nutrition in check, which is going to help you with your mental health and your physical health. You do food prep. You do all your cooking and food prep during the Saturday. So between that, cleaning, cooking, and laundry, um, and running errands, okay, maybe you have to go pay bills, you have to get gas in your car, you have to whatever else, whatever other errands that you have. As my cat just is demanding attention. Yeah, he's demanding attention now that we're doing a video. So that's going to pretty much eat up most of your Saturday. Is all your errands and your food prep, your cooking, your cleaning, and getting the things done that you don't necessarily have time to get done during the week and everything. So now then Saturday, what you can do is find like stuff that like you're interested in. So like for like, instance, like my other channel that I use, like Renari's Ashkeron, I talk pretty much a lot about like a Dungeons and Dragons, board games, card games. So you can go to like your local gaming store and get into stuff like that, and like that could be like your Saturday socializing instead of going to the bars and stuff. Or like if you're into like a theater, if there's like local theaters and you have the money, like go catch a local play or like a local concert or something that like one of your local theaters or like art centers has or something. And now, like, if you're maybe interested in like any type of mythology, whether it's like a Christian mythology, Nordic mythology, or whatever, find like you could quite possibly find groups that are into that stuff as well, and so you can get out and get with people like that, and get with people that aren't necessarily going to be going to the bars and get wasting their time getting drunk or getting high all the time. So that there's like your Saturday. Well, a Sunday, like you're pretty much going to have that day to kind of sit back and relax. And so like I did mention working out 6 days a week. So like that's pretty much like what I do is like a Sunday through Friday schedule. So getting to and from the gym, so that'll eat up like a good like a 2 hours like in the morning. So you kind of are able to take your time. So you could, in essence, eat up like most, if not all, your morning, getting to and from the gym, kind of relaxing and taking your time. Then you could get out for a walk and then come back and like on Sunday afternoon, use that time to kind of like catch up on TV shows, movies. Like maybe you like to do some reading or get into comic books, just like I mentioned, like TTRPGs, like D&D. So you could get into stuff like that. You could go again, like if using like any type of mythology, whether it's like Nordic, Christian, Muslim, like Greek mythology or whatever. Or you could be into history. You could be into like engineering groups. You could be into like like any science, like physics or chemistry or something. You could get into groups like that and like kind of use that like Sunday as kind of like a as a spillover to get into stuff like that and or like what you do like I do is like you can get into some maybe computer games and stuff as well. So like a big like massive multiplayer online role playing games that are out there like World of Warcraft, and my brother and I play Final Fantasy 14. So you could get into that and play for a few hours on Sunday, and so that will chew up like probably like most of your day on Sunday. So that's the schedule you could follow. Now, like again, I mentioned you could be working in retail, so like your days off could be, let's say, Wednesday and Thursday. So instead of like doing like the stuff I mentioned on Saturday and Sunday, you do that stuff Wednesday, Thursday, and then you follow the typical work week on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday and everything. So it would just kind of be like a kind of, instead of copy and paste, you kind of like okay, this is what he's getting done these days. I kind of have to like take this stuff during the weekend, do these stuff during the weekdays that I do have off, and kind of like not necessarily cut and paste like I keep mentioning totally, but like do cut and paste to the days you have off, and like kind of finagle your schedule so that way like you can in essence for like in a sense chew up most of your time getting things like done and staying busy, and the days will turn into weeks, the weeks will turn into months, and before you know it, like months will be turned into quite possibly years, and then like you will be able to move on with your life, getting into like an outpatient group once a week, like you're one-on-one with like a professional counselor, and then like using like quite possibly like online sources for like things like Smart Recovery or Reach Out Recovery or whatever, if you don't have those alternatives in your area. For instance, in my area, unfortunately, the cult is the only thing that's pretty much available in person. So this is a great thing about the internet, is that you can use it to find all the alternatives and find online groups and everything. So it could help like well, I don't necessarily want to be seen like with self-help groups of like for alcohol or drug abuse and everything. So that could help with going online is like you can get online groups and like use the social media apps. So you can search through like Facebook. There's Instagram. Discord's another good place to find groups like that. So like you can find groups online that have like that kind of like a view, like the like similar viewpoints of like, or people that have similar goals. Like, hey, look, I need to stay away from drugs and alcohol. go online like this and through the social media apps I mentioned, find people that like in a sense create like a community, online community to be able to do that instead of in person. If you don't have like the alternatives to AA in your area. Oh yes, you're so happy, huh? You're happy that we're telling everyone how to avoid the cult and everything? Yeah? Oh no, you just want attention. Alright, well, you heard it from my partner in crime and me that like this is how you avoid going to the cult and getting sucked in and pretty much getting going down that road of the slavery like I laid out in like a pretty much like a kind of at least trying to attempt to tear apart the steps and everything. So that's how you could go about your life and being like in a much better place several years down the road instead of getting sucked into and getting stuck in an organization like AA.